days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.
Do we have a race problem in this country? Because that all sounds great. Those
does the world have a race problem?
No. Do we have a race problem in America?
I think, by the way, I think that if you look at underlying the United States of America,
can we do yes or no?
I don't think we have. Look, I'm gonna do something. I think that we have not just the opportunity. I do not believe we have a major race problem in this country.
Okay, so stop. So you don't believe that there's a race problem in this country?
When you say race problem, what do you mean?
I mean that there's
that the United States
racial divide. There's a historic, systemic racial disparity that has created
I do not.
As the Kerner report said,
I do not think we're
two Americas, one black, one. So
I do not think.
So it's going to be difficult for us to have a conversation.
No, it's not.
I'm going to tell you why. Because if you don't think that there's a race problem in this country, and I absolutely do believe that the source of what's going to tear this country apart at the seams is race, then where do we come to a meeting of the minds? And I think that this is where the divide is. Is there not any compassion for a neighborhood with bullets with no names on them flying around? Do you think that would happen in an upper class or middle class or working class white neighborhood?
In the upper class, I don't know. I think it's probably highly unusual unless there was some sort of crime being committed. I think in working class white neighborhoods all the time, I think this type of stuff happens. By the way,
can you give me one instance where police officers opened fire on an individual, even if he were guilty, 41 times in a working class neighborhood? Can you give me, because you're stat full. You're full of stats. Can you give me one case?
Hang on. And let me ask you a question. Did those police officers, did they go to trial? They were found
not guilty. But again, if the system is inherently racist, I understand that. But if you don't believe the system is inherently racist, well, they were found not guilty. They went through the system, and the system wins. That's the problem.
But by the way, was it presented by a prosecutor? What was the makeup of the jury? Was the jury all racist?
And the system is rigged, Mr. Bannon. The prosecution and the police work hand in hand. Don't they on a daily basis work hand in hand? Do they not?
I don't have to believe. Look, I think.
Harvard, stop it. Stop it. Bannon, stop it. I'm looking at you. You're full of crap right now. I see you. That's some bull crap. Ehrlichman in the Nixon administration said in an interview that the tactic to, dismantle this uprising that was happening in this country was to flood heroin.
You mean in the 60s?
In the 60s, into the black community. And he was targeting the blacks and the hippies. He's on record as saying this.
I'd have to see that. I don't remember that. I don't know that, and I can't believe that possibly
it was
said.
It's a definite fact. Please Google it out. Google search it. One of you. We're going to put it out. Ehrlichman said, we're going to flood the drugs into this community. Then we're going to follow up with enforcement, and we're going to demonize the leaders, and we're going to destroy from the inside. And it was effective. That's the kind of systemic racism that I'm talking about.
Why do you say it's effective? I think the city since the 1960s, since the summer with everything burned, Newark, and I think it was 67, 68. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening in American cities today. I mean, cities like Richmond and Baltimore and Philadelphia have black mayors, have black city councils. By the way, have black police commissioners, right? Okay. So how can they be systemically racist if these men and women today are actually in control? In Baltimore,
you're answering my question. You're actually bolstering my point.
What is that?
Systemic racism is systemic. There could be a 90% police force that's black and still do the same things that the system has dictated. So it's a systemic racism. It doesn't matter if the mayor's black or the police chief is black. If the system is rigged, if it's rigged, it's rigged. No matter if it's rigged, it doesn't matter who's sitting in that seat.
But Karen, hang on for a second. If it was quote unquote rigged, how would you then have black city councils, have black town managers, have black mayors?
Because black people voted for them, not understing that the system is rigged.
I
if you vote for people,
totally disagree.
You send them to office, but you don't know how. Do you think Barack Obama actually runs this country? Tell me the truth.
By the way,
do you think he runs this country?
I think no president, quote unquote, runs a country.
Thank you. So why does he blame for all the things that happen when you know who really runs the country?
Hang on. I didn't say he's not beholden to donors and everything like that. He has made a number of decisions. I want to go back to your thing to say that people didn't know what they were voting for. I just disagree with that. I mean, coming up in a place like Richmond, working class blacks and middle class blacks are as smart as anybody. They understand the decisions they're making. I think one fundamental problem we've had, hang on, if you talk about misinformation, is that the community is having to face the worst part of capitalism, and what that is a labor force flooded with illegals.
You know what's destroying the black community? The lack of businesses in the black community. That's not illegal immigration. That's a decimation of a community that was willful on paper and systemic that then keeps people from being. We talked about this in the break. The lack of capital, the lack
equity
of
capital. I agree.
The lack of equity capital.
I agree.
Okay, so that's not.
But you have to make
black people not knowing what you know.
But you have to have the conditions of you and I, like when you did your app, to have an environment where people want to put capital and get a return on equity capital. You have to have an environment that's safe, right? You have to have an environment that people don't think that their business is going to be attacked or business is going to be turned down.
Who's attacking the business?
Well, I mean, like in the situation in Baltimore where things got out of control.
They didn't attack any black businesses in Ferguson either.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.